Damn. Alright, I guess just me today, but that'll give me a chance to make this a bit more of a practice audio than specifically a lesson itself. So, today what we want to do is go over a method that Dr. Bates talks about that helps cure actually a lot of cases, both mild and very strong, in children and adults. And it's one that is overlooked, especially with modern Bates teachers, and is actually one that has found to be the most effective in most cases for most conditions, and very, very quick, leads to a very quick cure. And it's going to be first starting off with some palming, and then going into a sort of shifting / swinging while looking at the test card, and then finally finishing it off with some type of sunning and going about our day. It's going to be an hour lesson, but feel free to hop if you need to. We're going to be doing 30 minutes of palming, which I know sounds like a lot, but I found that sometimes if you don't palm for long enough, you don't really see so many benefits. A lot of Bates teachers only have you palm for 2-3 minutes, 10 minutes, which is still good. But in my experience doing these, the 30 minute palming sessions have been very effective. Excuse me. And I have seen a lot of benefit just doing that. And then some Snell and test card practice with visualization. So in this session, I'm going to be guiding you guys through a palming. And I'm actually going to put on some relaxing music while I do this in order to make it a little bit more of a meditation and less so of a talking situation. Let's see here. Does this sound good? Nah, I don't like that. Nikola Tesla. So my favorite sort of thing to put on in the background is a Nikola Tesla or some type of healing frequency. I just believe in the science on these things. No evidence, just superstition, but I like to put this on and do some palming to it. So let me figure out how to make this play. I put this on repeat. Oh, there we go. Apple Music. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. Oh, I don't think you'll be able to hear that exactly. Well, okay, so you guys won't be able to hear what I'm playing, but please put on your favorite healing frequency sounds on YouTube. Try and find an hour-long playlist or something that will last the entire session, or you can do it in quiet without any music. I prefer music, but not music. Sorry, healing frequencies. Okay, so let's get started without further ado. I'm actually gonna set a timer for myself. Set timer for 32 minutes. 32 minutes. Counting. It's gonna give me 2 minutes to explain what we're gonna do, and 30 minutes of strict palming. So, first thing you want to do is you're gonna want to find a comfortable position to do your palming, and that's gonna, for me, look like my chair and my desk. Just sit in my chair. I actually have a standing desk, so I can adjust it a little bit to make sure that I'm not really leaning forward too much. If you don't have a desk, that's actually totally fine. You can just put your elbows on your knees or your thighs and sort of not hunch over, but lean over and use your palms on your head to sort of support your neck and your back. And you can do it that way. Make sure you are leaning forward enough so that you have enough space for your diaphragm to be breathing properly. If you're going to do it on your desk, then you should not have an issue with that, but try to make sure the desk is high enough so you also have enough room to breathe properly. Next, you're going to also want to try and ground your feet onto the ground. This isn't necessary, but I believe it helps with the energies or something. You're also going to want to dampen the light in your room as much as you possibly can. If you can have a room that is completely dark, then you will be golden. And if it doesn't get that dark, that's totally fine. I'm doing this in the morning, so we're going to have some light leakage from the windows. And once you've done that, next you're going to prepare to palm. So make sure you rub your hands together really well. Take your time rubbing your hands together because you're going to be sort of building up that charge for the next 30 minutes. Okay. And then now gently place your hands over your face. Try and wash your face if this is in the morning so you don't clog your pores. And put your palms over your eyes with your fingers crossed over your forehead and your palms not touching your eyeballs but instead resting around your eye. And try and make sure you get as much light out as possible, and then go ahead and close your eyes inside of your palms. And what you're going to do here is, for the first few minutes, just take this time to wind down. You don't have to think of anything specifically. Take some deep breaths. Try to really see the black in your palms. If you see a lot of colors, that's okay. Make sure to focus on your breathing. And now what we're going to do is shift our focus to the feelings that we have in each of our eyeballs. And this is popularized by a Beats teacher out of Israel. She is writing a book on this. But essentially, we'd like to first start off by talking to each of our eyeballs individually and examining how they are feeling and what is sort of straining them. So first start off by talking to your left eye, and feel free to do this in your head, but I'm going to do it verbally for the palming. But you can ask your left eye how it's feeling. And when I say feeling, I really mean it as an independent piece of your body, because oftentimes we ignore how our eyes feel, and we can go 30 years without really ever listening to the strain that they might be experiencing. And so we're really just giving this time to our eyes, especially to see how they're feeling, and really make our brain pay attention to the strain that we may be putting on each of our eyes. Ask your left eye what it's most strained by, and it could be, and it oftentimes is, the most strained by the way you feel about your left eye, or it could be not. Your left eye could be the favorite eye of your brain. But you're going to ask your left eye how it feels, and if it could tell you something, what would it tell you? For me, my left eye, when I did this, told me that it felt neglected, in the sense I have a right eye that is dominant and stronger, such that in doing all my Bates exercises, I often rush through the left eye exercises to get to the right eye exercises, because I knew that was my dominant eye, and I could sort of ignore my left eye. And after asking it how it felt, I realized I had completely neglected it, and it required some love. Now, I would like you to, on the palming, take this time to really feel any stress that your left eye is under, whether through the muscles or inside the eyeball itself. Try to relax those muscles and the eye as much as possible. Now we're going to move to the right eye. So ask your right eye how it is feeling. And also ask your right eye what is stressing it the most. Then I'd like you to try to feel the muscles and tension built up in your right eye. And while we're in our palming position, make sure if you've started to slouch or started to constrict your breathing that you correct that. Also try to make sure that you are not compressing any of your eyeballs with the palms and that your hands are completely free from touching any part of the eyeball, including the eyelid. Next, I would like you to ask the right eye if it could tell you something. What would it tell you about how it's feeling? And just for some context, when I've done this in the past, and as I'm doing this now, my left eye continues to say that it somewhat feels neglected, although better since I've noticed a few days ago. And my right eye is telling me that it is keen on continuing to improve to 2010. Okay, for the rest of the palming, we're actually going to focus on visualization. And to start off the visualization, try your best to just remember something from your day, from your week, or simply an enjoyable memory that you have. And it does not have to be anything related to vision. It can just be a smell or a time where you made someone laugh. Pick something that is positive. It can be a moment with your friends or family, or simply a thought you had or something you did during the week. Try to visualize that experience. Imagine all the different colors and senses that were involved in that experience. And if you think about something that is starting to stress you at all and your mind starts to drift there, kindly relax and bring your mind back to the positive experiences. You'll notice any strain that you encounter during this will show up in your posture as well as in your eyes. And so be cognizant to also keep your eyes relaxed and your entire body as well. Make sure you're not also pressing too hard on your eyes if you're leaning forward in your palms. And again, unless you absolutely need to, do not open your eyes. And now we're going to shift our focus to some visualization on a more test practice. So what I'd like you to do is visualize your Snellen test card completely white on your wall, no letters on it, just a white piece of paper. Examine the edges, the shape, even the surroundings of where your test card is. Keep in mind to not keep anything that you visualize static. Always keep the visualizations moving and swinging. Trying to keep them in place will strain your eyes, and it's important to introduce movement into everything that you see. And now I would like you to slowly start to add some letters to that Snellen test card, starting at the top, moving your way down to the smaller prints. When you put the letters on the test card, try to really shift back and forth between the top, bottom, right, and left of the letter, noticing the details of what you're looking at best and the rest worst. Keeping that letter swinging as well. And if you start to lose the letters, that's totally fine. Move on to a new letter. Our mind often likes change. And I'd like you to also try to visualize those smaller letters. I know they'll be small in your visualization, but that's going to really help. And if it helps for any of you struggling, try to start off with the letter close to your face in a large size and slowly push it back into the test card. And if it goes too far and disappears, just let it go. It doesn't have to come back. Pick a new letter, put it in front of you, and push it out again as far as you can while maintaining its clarity. Once all of the letters have been visualized, I'd like you to trace one of the letters, maybe focus on a small E, and go down the left side of that E, the bottom, the tip of the bottommost line, back around the inside, to the middle, to the top of the middle line, to the topmost inner area, back up to the top. And continue doing that. And if at any point you're having trouble doing these visualizations, which will be very common for most of us, take deep breaths and try to not try. In the sense, do not strain to see any of the visualizations. Have them come to you as would the memory of the current time of day would come to you without any effort or any strain. Imagine someone asking you what your name was, or gender, or whether the sun came out today, and you answering without any effort or strain the correct answer, In the same way that you don't strain to answer those questions, try to visualize without any effort or strain as well. Keep tracing those letters on the Snellen test card. Next, I'd like to take you outdoors. I'd like you to try to think about some of the text that you see on signs and on cars and in general outside. I'd like you to visualize those as best as you can, as crisply as you can. Make sure you're also thinking about the colors in this scene as vividly as you can. Now, I'd like you to again focus on the strain in your eyes, releasing any tension that has built up, maybe from your visualization. Feel the energy from your palms rushing into your eye and making those healing and relaxing changes. And now I'd also like you to bring your attention back to the Snellen test card. And I'll leave the rest of this time for you to practice using the Snellen test card, as well as any other visualization that you would like to imagine. Remember to keep things positive, to focus on proper breathing, and as always, put no effort into a new visualization as to not strain. And do not open your eyes until the 30 minutes has completed. And I will see you back at the end of 30 minutes. Ooh, actually, for some reason my elbow position was a little tight there, so I have some inner elbow tightness after that palming session. But go ahead and sit up straight. Don't open your eyes just yet. Slowly let your eyelids open up without any effort. And look around the room with your entire head. Like you to stretch anything that you felt became stiff during your palming session. And now what I'd like you to do is stand up and take this time to do some swinging. My favorite is the long swing. Oh my, I think his elbows really got tight. And again, in this long swing, try not to stare at the ends of your swings at any particular point. Making sure you're deep breathing while you're doing these swings. Try not to overdo your deep breaths, meaning making it laborious to take that breath in. As long as you're getting enough oxygen and breathing in a relaxed way, that's all that matters. I like to go in from my nose, out through my mouth. Now, you can close your eyes while you're swinging, or keep them open. I like to alternate. But the point of this is to just relax your entire body. Okay. And now we're going to actually bring that to the Snellen test card. So I'd like you to turn on the lights, introduce some light into your room so you can actually see properly. Take a drink of water. Now what I'd like you to do is look at the blank wall, not at your Snellen test card directly, and then slowly move to your Snellen test card. I'd like you to start looking at your test cards, letters that you can see. So focus on what you can see and not what you can't see. And I'd like you to start at the very top letter and trace that letter, shift on it. So trace on the outlines of the letter and move your eye top, bottom, left, and right on that letter. And try to focus on it without straining your eye, meaning look at that letter, shift and sketch it, and focus on that letter without keeping your eye in any particular spot or straining your eyeball to see it. So put absolutely no effort into looking at the letter, but make some conscious effort to make sure your eye is continuing to move. When you've shifted enough on that letter, I would like you to close your eyes and imagine that letter crisp and clear in your brain. Now open your eyes, blink a few times in quick succession, and look at the next letter. The next letter, do the same thing. Shift, 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 trace, 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 blink, blink, blink. Make sure you're always blinking here. Breathe. Relax any of your back muscles, shoulder muscles, legs. Try not to lock your knees completely. Introduce some level of motion into your hips. And continue doing the same exercise. So once you've shifted on that letter enough, trace it, close your eyes and visualize what you just looked at. And feel free when you do that to also visualize the previous letters that you've looked at. And then go on to the next letter. Blink, blink, blink. Breathe, breathe. Try not to see. I'm sorry. Try not to put any effort to see. And slowly start to make your way through each letter. If you find yourself too far from the chart and only having a few letters to look at, try moving a little bit closer so you can practice a little bit more with the letters that you can see. Now, once you get down further a little bit, what I'd like you to do is to start to sway left and right. And everybody has their own favorite way of swaying, but pretend you're just keeping some rhythm going with your feet, moving, putting your weight on one foot and then the other foot. And you can go far or you can go very short. Whatever feels the most relaxing to you. Maybe something you do with your friend while playing baseball or catch, or passing the ball around in soccer, or just simply standing around the parking lot with your friends and it's cold outside, so everybody's moving a little bit to keep the blood flow going. And with that sway motion, I'd like you to continue to look at the test card, at the letters that you can see. And if you're doing this correctly, or you're doing it in a way that's relaxing, it should become a little bit easier to see some of the letters. They should become a little bit darker. Now, it's hard to move and look and interpret and read at the same time. I understand that. But the idea here is really just to keep your eyes relaxed and to teach your brain and your eyes how to see in a relaxed way. Make sure you're breathing and blinking. Anytime you experience any clear flashes, do not try to not blink and hold the clear flash. Keep blinking. Now, if you have a second Snellen test card, I'd like you to put it either in your hand or hang it up on some lamp or something that is about half the distance away as your Snellen test card, possibly even closer. And use that as a reference when you're trying to visualize the letters on the Snellen test card. the ones especially that you cannot see or that are blurry. And so the way to do it is to look at the Snellen test card on the lamp, look at the letter that you need to visualize, close your eyes, trace it, sketch it, and open your eyes and look at the Snellen test card on the wall and see if you can see it properly. Try to practice your Snellen test card for around 15 minutes. You can practice longer or shorter to make sure you're keeping it fun. Feel free to put some music on, something that is relaxing. A podcast or music that is not very relaxing will actually make it a little bit harder for you to see. So I encourage you to put something on that is soothing. I discourage rap and that more upbeat, sort of very aggressive music. Try put something on that is passive and more so relaxing than it is to get you going. Try to also do it without music too, just to make sure that the music you are introducing to your visual practice is not hindering you. I would not, again, recommend a podcast or something that requires your attention to, in a sense, think about the topics and possibly even worry or stress about the topics being presented. There could be some podcasts that work, maybe some happy story podcasts, or maybe something about a podcast for kids about animals, but for the most part, try to stick to something soothing and that is known to be soothing. Once you feel like you've gotten a good hang, you're able to see the letters a little bit better with your swing. I'd like you to bring your swing to a stop and try to see the try to see the Snellen test card standing still or with very little movement. Use your eyes separately or together, depending on your needs. So if you're trying to work on your left eye, like I am, then I'm covering my right eye to do this. And if you're trying to work on your right eye or both eyes, do the appropriate adjustments to do that. At this time, if you have some type of astigmatism or another test card on the wall, try to use that test card, change it up a bit. One thing you can also do is bring up your hand in between you and the test cards on the wall and shift on your hand and fingers and then look again far and then come back to your finger and look again far. One other thing you can do is rub your pointer finger and your thumb together, the tips of those. Rub them together while looking to keep your mind somewhat distracted. And if you're having trouble seeing any of the blurry letters, again, make sure you're blinking well, breathing well, and not straining to see. But also, if you really can't see those blurry letters, don't. Keep trying. Look at the letters that you can see. Notice the details on those letters. Try and trace the letters that you can see and visualize them both in your hand with your eyes closed and with your eyes open. And try and see the existing letters less blurry. This will be often of more help then to try to see the blurry letters clearly. You'll find that looking at things that you can see to be more relaxing than looking at things that you cannot see. And that will assist in actually helping you see the things that are blurry because your mind will be relaxed. If you would like, at the end of the session, you can do a 5-minute palming, and you can actually or completely repeat this entire process again in about 20 minutes. Palming, and then getting up and looking at your test card. But for now, what we're going to do is, if you have a strong lamp, or if you have a way to look near the sun, I would go to that place and take the opportunity to close your eyes and look towards the sun or that strong lamp, and move your head left and right. Once you have some feelings of relaxation from this, I usually only do it for sometimes just if I've already done a lot of practice that day, I might just do sunning later and just do a quick sunning break after my palming and all that. But try to visualize some of the letters on the card. You might find it easier to do while sunning. And once that's done, then I'd like you to bring the lamp or sun back to where they are and go ahead and finish this session off with a long swing. And with that, this will conclude our first ever practice session that is guided. I hope this was helpful. Dr. Bates often used these kinds of sessions to make the most gains for his patients, and has seen a lot of success with this, and I have as well in my experience. So thank you for joining us, and I will see you on Friday.